Hey everybody, Professor Snart. One last check-in as we finish up our English 1102 course. So I'll be grading those final essays as they come in. You'll be able to see your final official grade through Blackboard, obviously, once everything has been submitted and I've had a chance to get to it. Be sure that you're checking your COD email or just checking into Blackboard. Particularly now, just in case there's been some problem with the final essay in terms of the file or some technical glitch has come up. Very rarely does it happen, but if it's going to happen, often it comes at just the worst possible time. So be sure you're staying kind of plugged into the course even after you've submitted the final work. Be sure you finish up the final discussion board, which is again that sort of overarching reflection, very informal. What have you improved on, what have you learned, and that kind of thing. Obviously, one of the things to keep in mind is that particularly with an 8-week format like we've had, we move really quickly. So it's in some ways it's almost too early to tell what substantially you've learned. Often these things don't really come through until maybe you take a next class, whether it's English or not, or some other a course where you have to do writing of this kind, argumentative, research-based writing, and hopefully, and this is why this sort of reflection is useful, hopefully you can not feel like you've ended what you've learned here, even though the course is ending, but can now apply it, where it seems suitable to do so in other kinds of writing situations. So the course ends, but hopefully what you learned will stay with you, and even like I said, because we move so quickly, often you don't even realize stuff that will in fact be applicable until you have to apply it, and then it's like a month, 6 months, a year later, you sort of realize that, oh yeah, I learned that in 1102, and now it's applicable here in, again, it could be an English course, but it could be any other kind of writing situation, maybe even not in school. If you're writing for as part of your job, or in terms of applying for transfer schools, for scholarships, all kinds of stuff. You'd be surprised at how many jobs or how often writing shows up in our lives, like it or not, out there. So anyway, take some time to do the course evaluation. Again, I mentioned that in my last video. It's really helpful for me to get feedback about maybe things that didn't work, but also things that did work. So don't assume that I know what the strengths were. It really is useful for me to hear that, so I can make sure that I obviously keep those things in place in the course, but also maybe can replicate or duplicate them in other courses, but also maybe throughout our course in different places where applicable. Okay, so that's about it. Hopefully you, upon reflection, do feel like you've taken away something from the 1102 experience. And again, final grades will be available through Blackboard. Any last concerns or questions, don't hesitate to be in touch with me. And otherwise, best of luck.